Yeah, good to go.
How you doing, Tim?
Oh, doing fine. Not too bad. Just, yeah, pretty mundane life at the moment. Yeah.
Enjoying lockdown. Have you got any lockdown habits or routines or rituals?
Um, Not really, besides working, doing a morning shift and an afternoon shift. But not really, not besides my usual ones. But a good change has been my wife Libby has started playing more board games with me, which is pretty cool. That's always a good sign. And she's pretty good at all of them. So there's a part of me that's kind of regretting teaching her all these games because she's good, and I'm like, oh, I like winning. And yeah, no, but pretty casual. Go for a
Alrighty.
walk every day. Get outside. Get your sunshine.
Yeah.
Got my morning devotion every morning, and then because Livy's had surgery on her knee, so a lot of her recovery is like she needs help with. So like I'll take a break at a certain time and I'll make her breakfast, and then I'll take another break and I'll make her lunch, and I'll take another break and make sure she's doing this, and take another break and make sure she's doing that. But she's doing really well now, so she's getting a lot more mobile and a lot more independent.
Yeah.
So my time's freeing up, and yeah, it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how she's going. What about you? What about your lockdown?
Well, it's just same as everyone else's. Kind of climbing up the walls now, and anyway, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to catch up with you. And have we caught up since we did that? Like officially on this channel, have we caught up? I don't think we have since we did that little short film about depression.
No, we haven't.
I should call it the underground film. Are you cool if we show it now and then we'll talk about it?
Yeah, I'm cool if you show it now. That's fine.
All right.
My depression is not contagious, so don't be afraid of being around. I know it seems like I don't want to be around you, but I really do want you to be around me. Please don't leave. I'm not infectious, but you are. My depression is not contagious. It won't suck the life out of you. The black hole in me won't drag you into. In fact, the light in you will dissipate the darkness in me eventually. So please keep hanging out with me. I'll be free soon. I promise. I want to be. My depression doesn't though. It's not contagious. And though it may seem like I just got out of the wrong side of bed, to me it feels like I've gotten out of the wrong side of life. No matter how much I sleep, I never rest. There's no light. The stars don't come out. The sun could never be bright enough. No amount of chocolate or fresh air or music or Netflix could move this mountain-sized weight that's around my neck that drags me down most days. So don't judge me straight up. It's not an easy thing trying to get back control of a car that you're sitting in the back seat of. It's almost but definitely feels like a trap that I didn't choose to get stuck in. I need you to stay. Escape rooms are hard when you're the only person in them. If you are nearby, then at least there's more of a chance. If someone who can get out of the mud can come and sit in it with me again and not try and pull me out, just please show me that I'm not alone. Because the one thing that might make a little difference is you. Maybe antidepressants would too, but it won't cure me like connection could. Maybe, just maybe, patience, kindness, and connection is the cure. I wouldn't know. I'm the only one in my world. Well, me and my depression. But it's not contagious, I swear. Please come in. I want a bigger world. You won't burst into tears if I look at you. You won't lose your appetite by eating with me, and I don't think your sleep will get affected by my breath. Prolonged exposure to me won't cause suicide. Underneath all of this sadness, covered up by frowns, masked by a mask of nothingness, really is a smile. And I do smile. It's still learning how to be seen. It's quite shy, it gets nervous around two things mainly: people or everything. Because not showing anything feels so much safer than feeling. I can't exactly see a way out yet, but I'm holding on to a thinning rope that there is in fact something beyond this darkness. It just doesn't look like I can get there alone. So please, please, don't leave me here alone.
Wow. You can hear
Pretty
that?
good. Yeah. Can hear it all.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That gets better with age. I actually
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that more now that we're locked down again. Like it's
Yeah.
just, and
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt watching that, but I felt just so grateful to be able to film that with you and Tadiwa and Jackson, and we just had fun.
Yeah. It was great. They're so good, actually. Yeah, I was watching them, like the shots of Tad and Jackson. I'm like, oh, do stuff with. They just get it. Yeah, no, it's good. There was a great response from it too. Like everyone was like, this is relatable. This is like such an important message. This is good. And I had one person give me a negative reaction, and they're like, are you really thinking that this is how you cure depression? Like, are you okay? I'm now concerned for your well-being and what you've gone through, and are you okay? And I'm sitting there like, okay, you've totally missed the points. What are you on about? This is not the point of this film that we made, but you know, that's fine. And yeah, so it was all good. As Marcus Scott says, never listen to your critics, always listen to your fans. Good advice. I like it.
Oh, that's the
yeah.
guy from The Office. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I thought it was good. Yeah, no, it was pretty amazing. And some of those shots, like, man, there were some good shots in that you got.
I just like running around underground. I mean, it was all probably a bit iffy, you know, but we just did it anyway. It was literally an underground film.
yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a good one. I'm super proud of it.
Yeah.
I hope you are too. It's a good one, actually, I think.
So you working on anything else? You mentioned before you've sort of been dabbling on a few things. Any topics that you'd like to cover with your poetry?
Look, none spring to mind at the moment. I mean, we had Easter this year. Well, I did one for church, and that was good. That was a good one, and they caught that on film, and you can watch that on their YouTube channel. That was a good one, but like nothing like that one that like that you just shared, because that one came from last year when we were all in a similar circumstance, when it was not really lockdown in Canberra, but it was still restrictions. And I remember watching my wife kind of lose lots of days at work, and she was stuck at home and she was working, and I could kind of see her start to unravel a bit, because she's very extroverted and a socialite, and yeah, she kind of just was in a bad way. And yeah, and I was fine, and then I went to bed one night and I couldn't sleep, and I just started writing, and it came. But and then we got this awesome piece. And I'm like, this is a very important message. I think the other day I started writing something because I think like with COVID, no matter what side of the fence you're falling on with so many issues, because there's a lot of fences being put up on a lot of different things, which is just a shame to see. Like for me, like I fall on particular sides as well, but it's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is I think listening is becoming a lost art, and just being able to respect other people and being kind. It's like all of a sudden there's just so much division, and if you're thinking differently to me, then you must be absolutely against me, and I need to just hound you with my point of view until you see it the way that I do, and that's just not. It's just not good, and you're not going to get anywhere. And I think, like, if everyone just calmed down a bit and listened to each other and thought through all the facts and just was respectful and kind, we'd be in a much better situation. Yeah, and our country would be fine. So yeah, so I just started writing just something about just listening, and how like I'm frustrated with the fact that in order for me to get listened to, I have to be louder than everyone else, and I kind of have to bash my hand against the door just to get in. And once I'm in there, I have to talk as fast and loud and aggressive as I can to get my point across. Yeah, and I don't know, that's probably going to go somewhere, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not that long at the moment. It's I don't think I can screen share, but you might drop out of. Anyway,
I think you can.
I've dropped my video, but yeah.
Hang on.
It's like 2 paragraphs, and if you can still hear me, I can read it, but I don't think you can see me.
Yeah, I can hear. All right, I've made you co-host. Now you should be able to screen share, I think.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's have a look. Hey. Oh, screen. Oh. Everything on your screen, including notifications. Oh, I don't know. That's weird. Okay. No, I won't try that. I don't want to stop what you're recording.
But I think
it's real short. It's just like, I'll share it actually. It's like it's insanity that I have to demand to be heard these days. I didn't get to say what I want, or I don't get to say what I want, or for someone else to start believing. Oh no, that's wrong. I've made a mistake on that. That's fine. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. It's just talking about simply getting people to listen. Like, you have to shout and fight and bash everyone else out of the way just to be heard. The worst part is no one is ready to listen to you, but everybody is ready to respond. 1 second will pass, maybe 2, and then they will start speaking, and there has been no listening. What a selfish society we live in. A lack of listening creates instability. Because I've noticed, like, you'll be in a conversation with someone, and like a lot of conversations are arbitrary and they're fine and it's okay. It's like, oh yeah, cool. People are, back and forth. You share your thoughts, you share your opinions, you share your stories. But like deep issues, like in debates, there's no pause to listen. It's like I say something and then straight away there's a response, and it's like they're not actually prepared to listen to you. They're only prepared to respond. Yeah, and so that's the only thing. The other thing I think, which is better, which has been on my heart, is just like exploring the wonder and the beauty and just the vast expanse of what God is. And I've realized that I've been a bit caught up in myself and like my own genius and what I can write, and I'm really enjoying just breaking down little things and breaking down just little aspects of God and unpacking them as much as I can and exploring just what an amazing God that I get to know and so many other people get to know. And like that's been a really enjoyable time in lockdown because I've got so much time to do it.
Haven't you found, like, I know I've found that even though we've got this extra time, I'm not concentrating as well as I normally do. And it's frustrating because like I've got my own writing pursuits, screenplays that I'm trying to get finished. And it's just like, it's frustrating because I've got extra time. I'm not having to drive around to and from work. I've got, we're forced to stay indoors, but I'm just finding that I'm not concentrating as good as I should, as good as I normally do. You know, those sustained levels of concentration. And I just think, I was talking about it with Kylie this morning. I think it's because it's just all this really big, heavy stuff going on in the background. It's like, keep wondering, where's this world coming to? What if this gets worse? What is, you know, I really miss my kids because, you know, I haven't seen them in like a couple of months.
Yeah.
And that's just sort of chipping away in the background, you know?
Yeah. I think a lot of people feeling that way too. A lot of my friends. It's like almost existential. Like that's the size of it. You feel like this weird existential pressure around you. Like something is going to happen. Something's going to snap. I don't know what's coming. What's going to get worse? Oh my goodness. And yeah, it's like, for me, it's just remembering that God's in charge. A pastor once said in his sermon, which is very challenging for some Christians because they're all very, no, God is in control. Yeah. But he said, God's in charge, but he's not necessarily in control. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. And then I thought about it and I'm like, no, that does make sense. That does make sense because he's not running around controlling every single aspect of our lives. We have choice, but he is in charge. And that's a real comforting fact, you know. And and one day I was listening to a song. I think we shared it at our church once. It's like that guy singing like, what would you do if you walked into the room? What would you do if Jesus walked into the room right now? What would you do? And everyone's having this response of like, like, you know, big Pentecostal church. And the thought that entered my mind, actually, I don't think it was a thought. I think I heard God speak to me. And he said, you know, one day I'm going to walk back into the room of this world. And then what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, that got me. Because now I'm okay. I'm like, yeah, you know, like we can go through all this, but one day I could look out my window out here. And then all of a sudden, you know, there's going to be, the sky's going to be opening up, and from the east to the west, there's going to be, you know, Jesus Christ is going to come down and then bang, it's like, okay, that's why I'm here. It's good. Yeah.
I tell you, I mean, that's spot on. Like I've been thinking more and more about that. And I mean, obviously people have been predicting the end of the world since the world began.
Yeah. Everyone's had their own experience of it, right? You know, like World War One, they're probably like, you know, the world's gonna end. World War Two, the world's gonna end. It's like, you know, no, it makes sense. Eventually,
you know, someone's gonna be right. And it's made me think a lot about just the weirdness of life itself, that because I've been reading, I know in my 1-year Bible, we've sort of been plowing through the book of Job. And when I was a lot younger, I used to just really wrestle with that book. But now it's kind of sneaky. It kind of grows on me more and more how it kind of really does set the scenario that, a bit like the Matrix, you know, we live in this reality that on one level it seems so real and it's all in front of us and it's all this suffering, but on another level, you know, God is orchestrating his redemptive plan.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, every now and again, the rules of this reality that we live in are just sort of shaken up like dice and thrown on the table. And it's like, okay, global pandemic, no one can move for X years. Boom. Like, okay, we're all stuck. The borders are shut, you know. Weird financial stuff. Houses are suddenly like way more expensive than they used to be.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Cop
so
that.
Frustrating.
You know? Climate change. Boom, cop that. You know, like all these uncertainties, and we've all, humankind has always lived with uncertainties, but they seem to be big and global now. And it's almost like if you listen quietly underneath all the noise, there's just like this ticking clock that's just getting, you know, closer and closer to the return of Christ. And we don't know when exactly that will be, but we know that it will be at some stage. And you know, whether it's in my lifetime or not, I know that he asks of me and all of us to be ready.
Mm.
And so there's big, weird, freaky things like this, like COVID and, you know, wars and rumors of wars and all these natural disasters and bushfires. And it's like, for me, it just reminds me that everything we can see and touch is not going to last forever.
Yep.
And it is drawing to a close at some stage. And even if it's beyond my lifetime, I mean, I will ultimately stand before God and see him face to face. In fact, I love that. I love that scripture in the book of Job where he basically says that I know that my Redeemer lives and I will see him. In my flesh, I will see him. Even after I'm God, he almost, if you read it very carefully, he almost prophesies the resurrection of the dead. I think he does, because he talks about his death, his own death, but then he says, yet in my flesh, I will stand before him. So he's talking about like the tremendous hope. And it's kind of crazy because this is like the oldest book that was written in the Bible. Like it's supposed to be written like 3,000 years ago, even before Moses wrote Genesis, and so it's an amazing insight, and how thematically it just plugs in so well to the rest of the Bible, even though it poses a lot of questions.
Wow. That's cool.
Anyway,
I've been playing a song over and over again. It's Seasons by Need to Breathe, because I love the chorus, and the chorus is so relatable. It's how does it even start? We're in for nasty weather, but I'll ride it out with you. We won't be riding highs and lows like tides of ocean blue. We won't be here forever, just a moment, then we're through. That line, we won't be here forever, just a moment, and then we're through. That gets me every time. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. Funny you mentioned the Matrix, because I finally showed Livy the Matrix. She's finally seen it. And there's a line, like when Neo and Morpheus meet for the first time. Morpheus says something that hit me a different way the other day when we watched it. I'm like, oh my goodness, like maybe that's how God feels about me, or maybe that's how he feels about someone else. And so I don't know who's going to watch this on your YouTube, but I just want to share this quote for whoever who might watch it. Morpheus looks at Neo and he goes, "You've spent the last 2 years looking for me, but I've spent my life looking for you." I was like, oh, and like I felt in that moment, it was like God was saying to me, like, that's me, that's my message to you. Like, we might be out in life and we're searching for something different, and we might be searching for years. You might have all the money in the world, all the friends in the world, you've eaten enough, you're satisfied, but you're still looking for something. And you could get onto the topic of spirituality and faith, and you might spend 3 years exploring that. And then you meet God, and his message to you is, you might have spent 2 years looking for me, but I've been after you my entire life. And for God, that's a long time. Like he has been after you for ages.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing thing. COVID aside, there's plenty of problems in the world, but there's a God that's after us, and he's a good God. And that's an awesome message. And I think that's
it actually reminds me a lot of a scripture I read this morning, and I'm just trying to remember where it was. One of Paul's letters, he talks about the fact that since we've known God, and then he almost corrects himself and says, actually, since God has known us.
Nice.
That it's like, that is a more truthful statement, that we think we are searching for God and we find him, but he actually finds us. He knows us, and is that weird sort of dance, isn't it, between predestination and free will?
Free will. I love it.
Which, of course, is what the Matrix is all about. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so So what's next for you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to being able to hike up a mountain. The only one near me is Mount Jeremiah, and it's not very big.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to, by the time we're out of lockdown, my wife will hopefully have 2 working knees, and I will be able to do what I love with her, and that is an awesome thing. Yeah, because her recovery's going really well, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
By the time we're allowed outside, I'll be able to enjoy myself doing what I love with the person that I love the most, and I think that's So I'm excited. I'm so keen.
That's precious. Yes. I am
Good.
looking forward to seeing my kids and my grandson,
Yeah.
and hopefully seeing Amelia while she's still pregnant. Like, she's in her final
Yeah.
trimester of her pregnancy, and I haven't seen her
Wow.
pregnant, you know.
Goodness me.
So I think, and a lot of people say this, when things like a pandemic take away some of your freedoms, you appreciate them more. And
Yeah.
just the freedom to be able to be with the people you love, family, friends, church, and heck, even just go for a walk in the bush and go camping, fishing. Oh man, I'm so missing all that. I can't just
imagine.
really looking forward to it. Yeah. Hey mate, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait for whatever it is, the next thing that we get to collaborate on when we are allowed to. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm keen.
God bless you, mate. See ya.
Yeah, thanks.